God of War Ragnarok came out, and I've got to say that there hasn't been a game's world that I have dived with more expectations than God of War Ragnarok. It's safe to say that Santa Monica Studios did not disappoint, and God of War Ragnarok, it was much bigger, more exciting, and genuinely worth the praise than anything that I would have expected. However, now that the dust some sort of way has settled, the game is over and there's a lot more to do. I think it's time that we start to talk a little bit about the future for this franchise. The Norse saga has concluded with the God of War Ragnarok as the name stated. Yes, Ragnarok does indeed arrive. Asgard is destroyed and figures like Odin and Thor are killed, though not by Kratos, as was the case with the Greek pantheon. Ragnarok marks the end of the Norse story. Odin executes Thor as a punishment for defying his commands. In a chaotic final struggle, Kratos and Freya and Atreus manage to imprison Odin's soul, but Sindri ultimately succeeds in destroying it in retaliation for Brock's passing while Odin was pretending to be Tyr. From this point on, Atreus informs Kratos that he must embark on a giant hunting expedition alone, leaving Kratos to journey with Freya and Mimir in a post-game segment. Here there are some minor story twists that tie up some of the loose ends. Thrud can be seen grabbing hold of Thor's hammer and taking off in the air to begin wielding it. The genuine Tyr that can be found in the ice jail. You'll battle and eliminate a current Valkyrie queen. The task that initiates the game's complete end credits is there a funeral for Brock. However, the game's conclusion leaves us in the dark regarding Kratos' future plans beyond the Norse duology. There will be no more games with Kratos in the Norse realms, at least that much we know for sure. However, Kratos finding a massive prophecy that depicts him being revered as a god ties into earlier talk he had with the Odin about whether anyone have ever truly worshipped or loved him as a god. This is only a glimpse into the future we get from the entire ending. The thing that makes my head scratch the most is that the fact that I can't put my finger on what they will do with Atreus in the upcoming games. If I was less confident person, I would assume that Atreus will be going on his own adventure from here on, perhaps in a spin-off game on his own or even a standalone game based from the God of War Ragnarok, since it was confirmed that there will be no DLCs for the Ragnarok. Instead, I think Kratos and Atreus stories will collide in a realm-trotting adventure, where we might see multiple pantheons and of gods in multiple mythologies. There's still a while to go for that though, and Atreus will most likely be a full-grown character in that regard. There is however one possibility in terms of game design that I know God of War will take in the future. This is something they have teased with the 2018 game and God of War Ragnarok, and that is two words: open world. As we know, God of War Ragnarok has all 9 realms explorable, along with the realm between realms where Sindri and Brock makes their home, serving as a hub area for our heroes. However, most of the maps we've had to, such as the Svartalfheim, Vanaheim, Alfheim, and Midgard, and more of course, have large map sections left to be explored by players on their own pacing. There are side quests here to do, they are well built and highly entertaining, some serving as a backdrop for a story for characters such as Frey, Lunda and Birgir. But there's other side quests which are just talking to souls and helping free them. However, the game is constantly teasing a sense of proper freedom, something that games like The Witcher 3 and Elden Ring had mastered. But that's perhaps where God of War is headed as well. No matter what a story takes us, and it will most likely take us to Egypt, there will be a lot of world building for Santa Monica to do in that regard. There will be an open world, and this open world game design will be a huge benefit for the game's core design, in keeping with the game's design techniques they have mastered in the current game. I think there will be 3 things that they will do in the next game, and that might enhance the open world formula even more so. The first thing is Atreus and Kratos being playable separately. They will be played on 2 different maps, eventually colliding in the story, as the arcs will crash into one, from which point you will be able to play as both of them, depending on who you want to play. This will give you a flexibility in playstyle. If you want to push for a stealthier, more ranged-oriented approach, then you can play as Atreus. If you want to pick a fair fight against hordes of enemies, Kratos is the one to go. There will be multiple play styles here, and both characters will play quite different to one another. The larger maps will create a larger possibility for more side quests. Quests that will influence the story in some ways, such as The Witcher 3 did, and they will try to make them meaningful so that they fit this theme of the franchise. There will also be a lot of the locations to explore in this world design. Because there's a larger map, there is bound to be much larger amount of locations to explore, and much larger set pieces and set open worlds to go through. This would make an RPG elements of the game work even more closely to home, where you can hunt for resources, craft items to use in special occasions, and perhaps even explore dynamic world events that occur similarly to The Witcher 3 and Red Dead Redemption 2. The third and the most important aspect of this change would be refreshing pace of the games. Santa Monica Studios completely reinvented the wheel with God of War in 2018. And now that they will do so again, so that they don't bore the players with repetition, these developers bring something new to the table consistently. And this is why an open world approach that they have teased for so long is definitely a way to go for this franchise. Larger open worlds puzzles, larger combat arenas, larger story, and many more side quests that might involve actual NPCs rather than souls of the dead. So these were my thoughts on where this franchise could be headed, and in my opinion this will be the best way to go. An open world God of War game in Egypt, or perhaps even Japan, or wherever they may go, will be what Santa Monica Studios need in order to reinvent the wheel once again. Please consider supporting me on my Patreon to see these special videos earlier, including with the extra additional rewards. And check out my playlist of all of the special videos that I already have released. I'm very proud of them. Do let me know what you think of them. And have an amazing day, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys all later.